The new Longines Conquest Heritage Central Power Reserve could be one of the most brilliant releases from Longines in current times, and I'm actually just going on to set at the moment. Here's Drew, here's some cool clocks, and let's talk about Longines. Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always, and today we're going to be talking about Longines. Specifically, we're going to be talking about this new Longines Heritage or Conquest Heritage Central Power Reserve. Weird how there's two cameras, right? These new models come in at 38mm and 12.3mm in thickness, which honestly wears like a dream. Any smaller and it's too small. Any bigger, I'd say going past 40 to 41, and it's probably looking too big for this kind of more vintage dressy style. This watch does sit really nicely under the shirt cuff and definitely falls into that more dressy vintage category. It kind of makes sense that these watches look that more vintage, that more dressy, because they are marking the 70th anniversary of the Conquest line. And 70 years, I mean, that's a long time. Let's talk about Christopher Ward for a second. They've only been going, the company, for 20 years. And this is a 70th anniversary of this line, not the kind of like company, you know, the age of the... Let's just move on. Before we move on with this video, I need to say, if you guys could do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. I realize that 82% of you that watch these videos haven't yet subscribed to the channel. If we could get that number just a touch lower, I'd love you forever. These models come in at 45.6mm lug to lug, and of course all come in stainless steel. Now you do have different color variations to choose between, and I want you guys to, as I'm going through this, try and guess which is my favorite. You have firstly the champagne dial, which looks less champagne and more kind of like off-white. This probably is my least favorite of the bunch. You then have a black dial, and then you have this beautiful, stunning, awesome anthracite gray color. As you could probably tell, that's the favorite. Now, each different color is paired with a different color of hands and hour markers. So in the gray color, that is my favorite color, you have these beautiful rose gold looking colored hour markers and hands. Whereas on the black, you have stainless steel. You have polished stainless steel, which looks very reflective and more white, and it kind of gives it more of a contrast. Whereas on the champagne looking one, you have yellow gold, and that looks good and probably a little bit more vintage than the one that I am more attracted to. The glass on these models is sapphire crystal, and this sapphire crystal has AR coating, anti-reflective coating on the top and the bottom. It is double-sided anti-reflective coating, and this sometimes to a lot of people is a miss. Sometimes a lot of people it is a hit. It makes the glass, or at least seeing into the dial in high lighting scenarios, a lot easier, and it makes it a lot more photogenic of a watch, but potentially, technically, it makes it a little bit more likely to scratch, because you're more likely to scratch that AR coating off. With that said, and I've said this in tons of videos, my Omega Seamaster has AR coating on both sides. I've had it for years. I've taken it up hills, I've taken it up Monroes, I've taken it climbing, and nothing bad has ever happened to it. I've never scratched it. These watches all come with alligator straps. You have two black, and the one that I am most attracted to is almost in like this quite dark, more charcoal gray color. And I just think the combination of that charcoaly gray strap combined with the charcoaly gray dial with that rose gold flare that's thrown in there, it just pops this watch wonderfully. On the subjects of straps, this, I feel, is the only issue that I have with this watch, and this is coming from a total watch snob, so I know that I don't make up the vast percentage of watch lovers. I'm just an enthusiast, and I'm just giving you my point of view. But whenever I wear leather or alligator straps, they kind of sit on the bone on my wrist. I don't know how to describe it. They just sit a little bit weird, and that is the one thing that I don't like about this watch. Everything else is genuinely almost perfect. I suppose now is as good a time as any. What is on your wrist today? It's time for the Chisholm Hunter tradition, which of course is the wrist check. I'm wearing the Christopher Ward 12, and we were actually filming some pretty exciting stuff for Christopher Ward. But unfortunately, we aren't official stockists of Christopher Ward, which is a shame. But we are official stockists of Longines watches. So if you're looking for your next Longines, head to chisholmhunter.co.uk. This watch is quite small. I mean, it is a 38mm watch, but it does look that little bit bigger than 38mm. And that's partially because the lugs look quite elongated and long because it's paired with that alligator strap. And also the stainless steel, the case, is all in polished metal. Now, polished metal, as I'm doing right now, is really reflective in the light and makes things look just a little bit bigger. They have a little bit more presence. Whereas black and dark stuff tends to camouflage size, bright things like this tend to accentuate size. Moving into the detail of these dials, and the detail of these dials is to die for. And there's one key feature that I'm going to save till the end for you guys because it's possibly the coolest feature I've ever seen in a watch of this caliber. It's stunning. The date window is at the 12 o'clock mark on these watches, which is a little bit more peculiar for Swiss watches. I mean, normally you see it at the 6 or the 3 mark, but to have it at the 12, that's a really nice point of difference. You also have an inner disc. You have kind of 2 inner discs as you go down this dial, and it's a beautiful sunray finished dial. Now, this has to be my favorite bit. And I know I said I'd save it to the end, but I lied. So when you get to the middle of this watch, you have the central hour reserve. Now, the central hour reserve tells you how much power essentially you've got in your watch. But when you twist the crown and power up your watch, you can see that central hour reserve moving and shifting based on how many hours you've got. And that is just a stunning piece of craftsmanship. The movement of this watch is visible through the sapphire case back. So yes, you can see into the beating heart of your watch. And it's the L896 in-house Longines caliber. It's a self-winding mechanical movement beating at 25,200 vibrations per hour. And this actually has a monocrystalline silicon balance spring and up to 72 hours of power. These watches come in at £3,500. Which, yes, is quite expensive, especially when you're talking about a Longines model, but I think that is kind of justified. I mean, you've got an in-house movement, you've got 72 hours of power, you've got an open case back, you've got a vintage-inspired watch, you've got a 70th anniversary piece, you've got date windows at peculiar points on the dial, you've got so much cool stuff packed in to this model. And that's it. That is the Longines Conquest Heritage Central Hour Reserve. You guys have been requesting this review for quite a while, and I promise you guys that I do listen to you. I listen to everything on the Chisholm Hunter Watches Instagram, the Chisholm Hunter YouTube, the Chisholm Hunter TikTok. I listen to you guys, and I'm trying to give you the content that you guys want. So let me know if you want to see anything else from us. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy. Remember, we do have our own in-house podcast, which is the Into the Mind podcast. And I'll see you soon.